Hello, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys. You are now entering Season 2 of the Swan Hockey Podcast. Swan Hockey is flying around the junior hockey world one episode at a time. You'll experience things dreams are made of, as well as things of terrible nightmares. Strap in, hold on, and enjoy the ride. And now, Swan Hockey.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Swan Hockey Season 2. We're going to be doing a little weekend recap here, looking at some of the notable things that happened this weekend. The season we're off. The 2025-2026 season is off. Very exciting. Lots of cool things. Some not so cool things, but we're going to dive into some of this here. Before we do, we want to hear from you. Remember, stay connected. Join the Swan Hockey Discord server. It's completely free. You can get there from swanhockey.com or swanhockey.io, either one. The IO is our digital experience. But join the Discord. We want to hear from you. So this weekend we had the big event was the North American Hockey League Showcase in Blaine. That has wrapped up. The North American Hockey League is underway. I know North Iowa had a pretty big weekend. I believe they were undefeated at least 3 days into it. Right now, Aberdeen, they're sitting at the top of their Central Division there in the North American Hockey League. Out east, you got Maryland Black Bears and Johnstown are kind of holding on to those top spots. NTDP went 2-0 at the showcase, which was cool to see. Goal differential they were +2. So right there, good games. They won both games, but it was, it's interesting to see how they stack up against, the North American Hockey League and, I guess prove why they should be in the USHL. A couple surprising things. I didn't know at the NA Showcase, I didn't know that scouts have to pay. That was one of the things going around this weekend, was that they were charging scouts to get in there, which is a little surprising because you would think that they would want to be doing whatever they could at this point to get scouts in there, since they are, for Division I, they're pretty much the bottom of the barrel for Division I recruiting now. And yeah, you heard that right. I mean, anything below the North American Hockey League, in terms of junior, I mean, the D1's probably going to be few and far between, a lot fewer than it's been in years past. So that was a little surprising to me. But again, not completely surprising, but it was one of the things. Saw it out of Klenko Media. I saw that, and we'll come back to Klenko in a minute or in a little bit, because they had some interesting posts this weekend. But yes, that was the big event at the north of the weekend, was the North American Hockey League Showcase in Blaine. And then the USHL, they're obviously underway. Major juniors underway. I tuned into a couple major junior and USHL games this over the weekend. Tell you what, it'd be really nice if the USHL picks up their broadcasting. There's been a lot of comparison between the two leagues now, more than ever with the new NCAA rules, but there's been a lot of comparison between the CHL and the USHL. And, one of the things for the USHL to try to get on that level of the CHL, they need to improve some things with the league, and it's more than just the on-ice play. One thing I think is the broadcasting. I mean, you watch a lot of these CHL games, they look like NHL games on TV. The USHL, at least the games that I saw, have not reached that point. It'd be nice to see them start to elevate these kinds of things league-wide to, again, if they are trying to compete with the product that of the CHL. But yeah, heading over to Tier 3, which we released an episode of the podcast today titled Tier 3 Mess. Kind of just to, summed up a little bit, like it's such a shame what's happening in Tier 3, because Tier 3 is, again, I said it in the other episode, I'll say it again now. Tier 3 is it's a necessary level. Like, you need it. And it used to be very, very good. And now it's just kind of, there's still very good players, very good teams, very good personnel in the league, but there's just so much inconsistency. And it'd be nice to see something done to start to clean this up and get it back to what it was. And then, the other thing I wanted to say about the USHL, Mark Carlson, head coach of Cedar Rapids, he just tied PK O'Hanley's record for the most regular season wins in league history. So obviously we expect him to break that sooner than later. So that's pretty cool. A lot of eyes on that and everything now. So, back to tier 3. It's such a necessary level, and it definitely serves a purpose, but it'd be nice to see it get back to what it once was, with a little bit more integrity. And it's kind of odd or not odd, but you'll see other situations too, where you have hockey going into new markets that it's never been before, and they're trying to grow the game in general, but it's adding inconsistency to the league. Like one of the big areas where you could really see this, I think, is in the NA3 in their, I don't know if it's a Southeast division or Texas division, but the one with like, there's a couple Texas team. In fact, I'm going to pull it up right now. Let's see what we got. We got, where is it? The Southeast division with Louisiana Drillers, Texas Roadrunners, Carolina Rage, Pelham Prowlers, Bayou State Rougarou. Apologize if I butchered that. Atlanta Capitals. And, but there's teams in this league, or especially in this division, that are just so far ahead of the others. So right now, I mean, you have Louisiana Drillers and Texas Roadrunners. They're running away with the division. I mean, you look at their goal differential. Louisiana, they are plus 78. Texas is plus 52. And then you got Carolina minus 27, Pelham minus 42. You got Bayou State minus 19 and Atlanta minus 47. So there's a big difference here between the top of the division and the bottom of the division. And on surface level, you start to see, okay, shit show. But when you dive deeper into this, it gets more interesting, because I know that there's good people in these organizations, and it's I guess a shame to see some of these. Like, I really do feel bad for some of these teams that are struggling. Like, if we start with Bayou State Rougarou, so their owner, and I don't know if he's the only owner or not, but like, I know the guy. He owns 2 pro hockey teams that I deal with. Like, he's doing a great job in pro hockey. They've got plenty of money. Their tuition for the Rougarou is probably, I don't want to give it an exact number, but it's probably about a third of what a lot of other teams charge. I'll say that again. It's probably about a third of what other teams charge. And I know what they're trying to do there. And I know it's really a shame to see somebody like that not having the players. But again, this is where it's interesting. They're trying to grow the game in an area that it hasn't been grown before. Like, they put a pro team in there. They put the junior team in there. They're buying rental skates and doing public skates and stuff. Like, their mission is almost different. Like, they're actually trying to grow the game. And again, like, they made it super, super affordable. So it's almost like their objective is a little bit different, because again, where you have some organizations that they're trying to build these powerhouse teams, these guys are trying to grow the game in their state. And I'm not sure what the exact answer is in terms of like, okay, what can the league do to maybe help structure this better or differently, or certain, like, I don't know if maybe the divisions have to be played with or the schedule played with, but
it's time for the Season Pass Point Unlock code for Episode 19. The Episode 19 Point Unlock code is DREAMS. Enter the code at www.swanhockey.io to receive your points. Season Pass is free to join. To join or to learn more, visit Swan Hockey Digital at www.swanhockey.io. And now, back to the show.
the league obviously wants to grow, right? It's like the league has the same goal as a team like the Rougarou, where they're trying to grow. But it just seems like the league, like, I feel like the plan could be better, or the there's got to be something in place where they could strategically say, okay, we want to grow the league. Here's a team that wants to grow the sport. How can we all work together and try to do what we can to try to help this grow? And again, what that exactly looks like, I'm not 100% sure right now off the top of my head, but what could we do? It's like, what could we do? What could be done to help this grow in an effective way where we could have the league expand and the sport expand in a healthy way? Because again, like, I've talked to their owner, like, he's passionate about this. He's trying to do the right things. He's trying to give them, he's trying to do it right. And he's doing it at a price that's like a third of what other teams charge. So it's, I'm honestly surprised that more guys aren't down there, from a financial standpoint alone. Then you look at Atlanta. Their head coach is Jeff Pyle. Jeff's been coaching pro hockey forever. Like, he's got to be one of the best, if not best, coaches in Tier 3 hockey anywhere, just based off of merit and resume alone. Right? And unfortunately, they're 0-6 in the Southeast. Like, they don't have the players, clearly. Right? So again, like, it's a shame to see an organization like that has that resource in Jeff. And I spoke to Jeff a couple of weeks ago. I mean, he's, I don't want to, not dumbfounded, but like Tier 3 hockey and the recruiting battle and some of the shadiness and everything else that goes on. He's kind of like, man, like, I thought I saw a lot in pro. This is at a whole new level. So again, it's really a shame to see some of these teams that you would like to, to see them struggle when you would like to see you'd like to see them doing better. And quite frankly, they probably have a better product than some of these other guys that are doing much better. But again, maybe, growing the sport in a certain area, and I'm sure there's more examples of this out there. It's just really, really interesting to see. But keep that in mind. I mean, look, if there's anybody out there that's looking for somewhere to go at an affordable price, and, you got to leave whatever team you're at for whatever reason, I mean, maybe look at it. And another cool thing about the Rougarou is I was in the one of their Facebook, or one of the pro teams Facebook groups in the city, and people are following the junior team. Like, the city is passionate about it. I mean, there's people following it, even though they, the first game they didn't do well. It looks like they're 0-3 now, but like, people are passionate about it. Like, it's an interesting, and again, I feel like at surface level, there's going to be, a lot of people at surface level are going to see some of the scores of these games from this division and write these guys, some of these teams right off. But when you dive deeper, it's really, really interesting. And again, it's just a shame to see some places that have, and again, these probably are not the only two examples. It's just a shame to see some of these places that have some of these resources and some of these personnel to just, to not be doing well like this. And I hope more people start to pay attention to them, because, you might, again, like, I think these two places have potential. Now, if we go back to Klenko Media, so I'm pulling up their X account now, because they had some really interesting things to say over this weekend, as they usually do. Where do we got? So here's one. Hearing that during Florida Eels versus Bold City Battalion USPHL Elite Division game this morning, 3 battalion players were ejected and the team played the remainder of the game with 1 skater on the bench. Pay to play junior hockey, thumbs up. Crazy. I mean, it's just, kind of everything that we're saying in the last episode and saying in this episode. It's very, very unfortunate what's happening in Tier 3 junior right now. It's just very unfortunate. I know there was another, here it is, another post in reference to Bold City. Hearing from a source that USPHL's Bold City has frantically texted players everywhere to dress in today's game to prevent league from folding the team. They texted players from other teams include in their own league, as well as youth programs like FGCU and Blade, citing injuries. And then a little head exploding emoji. And the text on this thread says, "Hey, so-and-so, I got your name and number off a recruiting list. I'm with the Bold City Battalion and we have some injuries and are looking for a few players to play this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday down in Fort Myers. Hotel and food are covered." And then the rest of the text was cut off. It's crazy. We're at the point like where teams almost can't give this product away. And again, it's just such a shame because it's a necessary level and there's good players, there's good operators, there's good coaches, and it's just the Wild West. It's just a ticking time bomb. And the bad in it is really, putting a black eye on it for everybody because again, it is a necessary level. There are good players, there are good operators, and those guys deserve to have a quality product to get what they need because again, it is necessary. So yeah, just some interesting things from this weekend. Hopefully this season starts to, get back on track here in terms of the tier 3. The best advice I can give everybody out there is just, if it's not right, it's unfortunate. You got to get out. Nobody likes to see you guys hopping around from team to team, but if your situation is just a shit show, there's really no way about it. You got to get out. And honestly, it'd be probably best, like if there's pods of players to, talk about this first and then all go to the same spot, to improve a situation or whatnot, or to try to guarantee that your next spot is of value. Cause it's just a shame what's going on. But yeah, you guys, and listen, everybody out there, you have to do your homework. Like even for players and parents that haven't gotten into this yet, and you're going to be going into it next year for the first time, and you're starting to maybe talk to teams throughout this year, getting scouted. You have to do your homework. You have to do your homework and you have to stay level-headed. A lot of people are in certain situations because they do it to themselves. And again, there is a lot of good in this game and there is a lot of good at the tier 3 level. So find, if you're unfortunately in a situation where you have to get out, do your homework, find a great situation for yourself and go. Cause there is so much great in this game. Again, lots of really cool things going on. In general, in junior hockey, great to see another awesome Blaine Showcase in the North American Hockey League. Awesome to see Mark Carlson and what he's doing in the USHL. And yeah, that's going to be it. We're going to have another episode this week. Should be Wednesday. Bill Underwood and I are going to be discussing how the Pandora's box that's been opened at the NCAA level with having major junior kids play. Now we're starting to see professional players come back and play. So we're going to be talking about how that's shaking things up and what that looks like. So, yeah, until then, talk to you guys in the Discord and, yeah, see you then.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Swan Hockey Podcast. We remind you that season pass points are available to listeners. For more information, please visit www.swanhockey.io. Until next time.